My sisters and brothers, I greet you all with the love and peace of the Lord. I invite you to meditate together with me on the holy word of God of 16th July 2021 in special reference to the feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Many Carmelite orders celebrate July 16th as their congregational feast or patronal feast. Thereby, we commemorate the past history as well as rededicate the present story of the journey of our life. From the Bible, we know that Carmel is the mountain overlooking the Mediterranean Sea on which the prophet Elijah successfully challenged the priests of Baal, the false god, and won the people to the true God. Carmel in Hebrew means garden or vineyard. The feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel was first instituted in the late 14th century. It was in commemoration of the approval of the rule of the Carmelite order 100 years earlier. The feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel entered the calendar of the Universal Church in the early 18th century. Significant Carmelite devotion to Our Lady is through the brown scapular. A scapular is part of a religious habit, a wide piece of cloth worn back and front over the shoulders. Latin scapulae means shoulder blades and reaching to the knees or lower. From the Middle Ages, lay people sought some association with religious orders, and a common way was to invest them in part of the habit, frequently a reduced scapular. The brown scapular of the Carmelite order has been very popular since the 15th century. The brown scapular of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, according to the Carmelite tradition, was presented by Our Lady to Saint Simon Stock, the then Father General, on July 16, 1251. Our Lady gave Saint Simon a scapular for the Carmelites with the following promise, saying, "Receive, my beloved son, this habit of your order. This shall be to you and to all Carmelites a privilege, that whosoever dies clothed in this shall never suffer eternal fire. It shall be a sign of salvation, a protection in danger, and a pledge of peace." The scapular is a symbol, that is, a sign that carries a deeper meaning. Quite rightly, in a letter to the whole Carmelite order, the Superiors General J. Chalmers and C. Matthias wrote in 2001, "Reflection on the scapular symbolism implies that we think out and make our own the fact that Mary is our patroness who cares for us as mother and sister. Our mother nurtures the divine life within us and teaches us the way to God. Our sister walks with us in the journey of transformation. Thus, Mary's patronage is a two-way relationship. We receive Mary's care. In turn, we are called upon to imitate her and to honor her through fidelity to her Son. Therefore, wearing of the brown scapular is not a quasi-magical totem. It is a sign of a relationship with Christ along with Mary. As the symbol of a religious garment, the scapular should also remind us that we are to be clothed with Christ, in reference to Colossians 3:10 and Romans 13:14 verse. And Mary accompanies us, clothing us with her Son. This is what today's readings also reiterate. In the first reading from 1 Kings chapter 18, 42 to 45, Prophet Elijah stood firm and faithful to the true God on the Mount Carmel against the false prophets of Baal. And in the Gospel, we have Mary standing firm and faithful to God to the end on the Mount Calvary against the ploy of the evil in the shattering experience of the misery of the way of the cross. Mark, she reaches Calvary and does not stop or skip on the way like many. She stands and does not run away. She stands and does not collapse out of desperation. She stands and sees. She stands and listens. She stands and offers him to the Father. She stands and shares in his mission of salvation. She stands and accepts the last commendation of her Son. Do we stand with him and for him till the end? Do we have the love and loyalty to persevere till the end? Do we have the courage to look up on the disgraced, defeated, and failed Lord hanging on the cross? Do we have the reignited surrender and fidelity to commit to his mandate? Then there is mutual entrustment, entrusting the disciple to the mother and entrusting the mother to the disciple. But there is something interesting to note. He calls his mother woman and calls his disciple son. Therefore, there is a twofold twist in the relationship. Mother of the Master becomes both the mother and mediator for the disciple. Calling his mother woman, we know, is not at all disrespectful or derogative. Rather, it elevates the level of relationship from the natural and sentimental to the level of mission and salvation. If Christ is the second man, the new man who brought salvation, Mary is the second woman, the new woman who assists him in this salvation. From here, the disciple took her into his own home. This is another significant fact. This implies that the disciple accepts the new relationship of mother and son. He assumes a deep personal responsibility for Mary, and he takes her into his own home. It is not any rented house with the best provisions and services. Rather, symbolically, he takes Mary into his own heart, into his own life, his own family and community. She becomes an integral part and companion of his life, everyday life. From then on, Mary was not only the mother of Jesus the Master, but his own mother. Reverence is soaked into profound affection, devotion into dedication, duty into loyalty, and veneration into imitation. Do we take Mary into our own homes, our hearts, our lives, our communities? Do we experience, nurture, and foster the beauty of relationship with this mother and companion? Do we keep up the trust of the Lord in entrusting his own mother to us? Our filial relationship does not end only with filial veneration and filial devotion. It becomes complete and perfect only when it is committed to a filial imitation and emulation. In other words, in the light of the second reading from Paul's letter to the Galatians 4:4-7, this would mean that we constantly strive to live up to the purpose of Jesus' coming. This is a threefold purpose. The text very clearly teaches us that Christ is born of a woman to redeem us from the slavery of sin, to make us children of God, investing us with freedom, and to fulfill our life as heirs with dignity, obtaining eternity. Not slaves, but children with freedom and heirs with dignity and patrimony. Let the mount of test and trial become the fount of grace. Let our constant walking the way of cross and standing on Calvary like Mary help us to ascend to heaven as well.